I'm betting that 70% of followers are realtors, maybe more, maybe 80% or more. I'm not convinced that realtors have a lot of clients following them right now. So they have to learn how to monetize the power of their current database on their social media platforms and start adding those local businesses, those past consumers, future new consumers, or relevant people in the community that they want to elevate their personal voices amongst. Because if we're not monetizing our current database of realtors for the purpose of referrals, then you know really, what are we doing it for?
Virginia, I don't know how you did this, but you psychically were reading my mind,
Oh, okay.
because I was going to literally tell you, as we're talking about this, I want to share with you, I think, a nice little mentorship 101. This is what I tell young lawyers, but they could do this in any industry. It blows me away when somebody is starting off as a professional and they're saying, okay, I need to spend money on ads. I need to be on buses. Should I do radio? What should I do? I tell them, hold on a minute. Let's stop the horses for a moment.
Right.
I tell them, pull up your phone for me right now. I tell them, I've said this like 1,000 times. Okay, pull up your phone. I want you to scroll down to the end of your contacts. What is the number of contacts in there? They'll tell me it's 500, it's 200, it's 3,000, whatever it is. They say, how much is yours? I think mine's at 7,500. I don't know. It's a little out of control, but that's fine. But I tell them, look, this is how I did it as a young lawyer. I came to Kormans. I'm a partner, junior partner. I spent probably 3-4 months every single day going from A to Z and making sure every single person in my contact database remembers who I am and where the heck I am and what I'm doing for a living. Just a nice little reminder. Some people got a text message, some got a phone call, some got an email, some got 2, some got 3, whatever it is. That was step A. And in between of it, a point that you brought up, I made a point every single week, no matter what religiously, at least one get together. Always somebody, breakfast, lunch, dinner, tea, coffee.
I agree. At least once a week. Yeah, at least once a week.
Always, always, always. Then when the contact database is exhausted, 1 hour every day, LinkedIn, I liked it a lot. I found that's a really good one. So people like Facebook, but mining for people, looking through mutual contacts and just reaching out. Sometimes I reach out to the mutual person and said, hey, I noticed that you're friends with so-and-so. I noticed what's a connection? Could you put a word in for me? And it's amazing how that grows. Sometimes I just follow somebody. One of my best realtors, we are now like one of the best friends. We've gone out to dinner like 30 times. How did we start our relationship? I added him on Facebook. I liked every single one of his posts. And every time he sold or bought up property, I tagged time to call the real estate lawyer.
Right.
You know what happened? Friday at 4 p.m. out of nowhere. He never called or anything. He just shows up in my office. I happen to be there. He's like, hey, Johnny, how you doing? I'm like, good. He goes, I see you liking my stuff on Facebook. So you seem like a nice guy. Could we sit down for a while? I'm like, sure. Oh. And we spoke.
That's how it begins, right?
Yeah. And we're going out for dinner next week. It so happens, but
that's how it begins. The connection point is online. Now, if that connection is someone you want to grow your relationship and your business with, you do have to take it to the next level. You do have to meet live. Let's face it, during COVID, during lockdown, we lost that connectivity and we were strictly communicating online. And when I look at when I started my business, my career in real estate 30 years ago, we only had a pager and a telephone and a bag of quarters. And if we were running late or needed to connect with a client while we're on the road, we had to pull over and, find a payphone booth, right? Now we've got so many different ways to communicate since Web 2.0 came into existence. We, started with email. It went to, the mobile phone. It went to social media. It went to DM, Zoom, Snapchat. There's video conferencing. There's so many ways to communicate right now, and we cannot lose that live one-on-one where we meet with our strategic alliances, realtor, referral partners, and the consumer live face-to-face. We were just talking about this yesterday. Once upon a time, we'd have to schedule an appointment with the client. We'd meet with them in their home. And sometimes their reason for selling weren't under good circumstances. Maybe a spouse had passed, a divorce was taking place, children were moving out of the home, um, loss of jobs, couldn't make mortgage payments. So many reasons why people were moving, and we were confidants at that time. We were confidants, we were good listeners, and before we even toured the home or reviewed a listing presentation and all the expectations of our services, we were listeners and confidants. We took in personal information, and we were vulnerable. We became vulnerable with the consumer. Um, that kind of changed during COVID and during lockdown because everything was done from the palm of our hands, right? We were texting, we were DMing, we were doing digital signatures for listings and offers. Sometimes, you know, like Wayne would say during an offer, he's like, I need to make sure that before the consumer signs a digital offer that we review it together. Well, he would send the digital offer and he'd already get it back with initials and signatures. And it's like, no, resend it again. I need to review that offer with them. Even the consumer was falling into the trap that it became efficient, but in the wrong way, right? Come on, you're a lawyer. It's easy to sign an offer.
That's why, for example, I don't do DocuSign. I make the people meet with me the same way you and I are on this type of setting, and I
Right.
do with the client. But I review every single page, every single document with them, and then when it's comes time to sign, they're not just stamping the same signature over and over. They have to hand draw it, the hand initial, hand signature. I feel better
Right.
about that. It's the same way I would have done it in person. But I'm not going to send off the law clerk to do it. I feel very strongly from a professional standpoint, the lawyer should always meet with the client to sign the paperwork. And I want to meet with them. I've had clients say to me, send me the papers, I'll sign it, send it back to you. No, no, no. You have to
Yeah.
hear it. You need to know what you're signing. It's really important. So I'm really glad to hear Wayne is doing that. That's spectacular. To
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's a difficult thing. And I think now, I think the consumer will start expecting us to meet with them live again, especially with the way the industry is changing. Listen, we just had another rate hike. There's a possible second one coming by the end of the year, maybe another one in the new year in 2024. I personally think there are still great opportunities out there for buyers. We have to become the resource and find them, and we can't do that while we're online. We have to really start working hard and researching for the consumer, and you know just putting them on autopilot on MLS isn't going to work. We have to meet with them and strategize a plan that is going to help them win in real estate.